All right, world. How we doing out there today? In the wake of what's going on in this world. My name is Ronald Cochran, and what I'm bringing to you is a 16-year self-funded research worldwide emergency direct impact love campaign. Worldwide emergency direct impact love campaign through art, and I'm an artist, advertising, all this art. Through advertising, I want to encourage humanity to create more acts of love. I've been working on this project for 16 years. It's been a very beautiful, wonderful experience to research and study love at my leisure. It's been awesome. Not only have I found out multiple ways to promote love from an advertising standpoint of view, which is, by the way, I have a 35-year history, plus years history in the advertising world. I'm an artist once again, and my name is Ronald Cochran, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan, from the east side of Detroit. And I'm bringing you this live video documentary based on this love campaign that I've been working on. Like I said, once again, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and born and raised on the east side in the 60s and the 70s. Um, I've been creative all my life. I've been a creative person all my life. Um, as a child, uh, before I went to school, I was creating things. I could draw before I could write letters. I could draw pictures, legible pictures since I can remember. I would say 3 years old, maybe two, three, definitely 4 years old. It's been very creative, different. I've always wanted to be different. Of everything that I've worked on, I've always worked on being different, doing it different, feeling different. Um, Once again, I'm from Detroit, East Side, come from a dysfunctional family, but we did the best we could to do what we had to do. And through all that dysfunction, somehow I kept it on my heart to be creative. I would work on projects early on, drawing, wood, um, bicycles, cars. I was always drawing, coloring, um, wood. I would always build. I started doing 3D in about the third grade. I started building stuff out of wood. You know, taking my drawing off the table and bringing it into 3D and creating life 3D forms. Clubhouses, go cars, um, all kind of stuff, shelves, um, tree houses. I used to build all kind of stuff when I was a kid, and people used to look at me crazy and whatever. But I was always doing that as a kid. Um, Bicycles came along, and I was creating bicycles. I had to make my bike different, and my bike would always be different, and people would like it. I've always been creative, always working outside the box. Um, I was also race cars. I used to have a race car set, and my friends would come over to my house. I had a nice track, and they like to come over there and race their cars. And one night I stayed up all night, a couple of nights, trying to figure out how to put this train motor inside of my car, so it can go faster than everybody else's. And it worked. I got that train motor in there, and it was fast, and nobody could beat me on the race car track. It was. So I've always been creative, always working on stuff, and also as the years went on, I kept creating, and then I got into sports, and I would become a little more creative with the basketball. And I played basketball in high school and I played at college. And um, I didn't want to play like others. I wanted my own style. And I began to work on my game and just creating my own style of play. Um, very unique, very unique. Basically, before its time, I didn't understand that it was before its time. I knew it was different. I knew it was unique. I didn't know that um, it would be 35 years before I would begin to see some normalcy in terms of people playing on that level, that style of play that I played back when I was a young fella. Very creative. That's a whole documentary within itself. Um, but along the way, coming up in this dysfunctional family, I've had some dysfunctional behavior of my own, and I had some problem teenager, you know. Just growing up in Detroit, um, and I had to deal with those problems, and they set me back. Some of the things set me back a lot in my mind, my emotions, and some of my physical um, pursuits. But life goes on. I end up, you know, dropping out of high school behind that, but most fortunately, I ended up in college not long after that with out of high school diploma. Um, Once again, that's a documentary in itself, and I was there and I was doing my thing, and that's how I started back doing art when I was in college, and due to the dysfunction, I didn't graduate from college. I came back home, and next thing you know, I was in the neighborhood, but I wanted to do something different. And next thing you know, I'm starting a sign business, do some art. I want to do art for people. Um, what I'm sharing with you is the love campaign. This is the foundation of the love campaign. Somehow along my life journey, I've always felt the need to involve myself in things that I want to do. Um, I didn't mind investing the time into being able to prepare myself to do certain things. I spent a lot of time in the libraries on my own. Computers wasn't out back then in the early 80s, and I spent a lot of time at the library doing research. Um, I didn't know that my research would become so profound. In college, I did learn how to research. They taught me how to research. I didn't graduate from college either, but I learned how to research. And when I came home from college, I was in research mode, creative mode, and research mode. So I was doing my business, and I love basketball, and I kept playing basketball. I started coaching basketball. I started refereeing basketball. I started organizing basketball tournaments in the neighborhood. Um, Anything that I could do to be around that game that I love so much. Once again, that love campaign. Also, I'm loving on this art, and I'm pursuing my art, um, putting my time into things that I want to put in my time to do. Um, I'm doing art. I'm running this business, um, doing all types of signs for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and I ended up doing some work for some large organizations and companies. And um, I spent a lot of time doing. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of murals, T-shirts, banners, different things for people. Spent time at the library. I spent time, in business classes. I went to business seminars. Um, Anywhere 3 week business class, 3 month business class, sign me up. So I was seeking information. I've always been seeking information, and quite multi-talented. And another talent that would come along over the years with my passion to work with people. I found out that after coaching, that I was pretty good at motivating and inspiring people. So I took into that, started being a mentor, working with these young folks so they wouldn't have a hardest time as I had. Try to touch them with something positive. Once again, the love campaign is going on in effect at that time. Business. Um, went to business classes, seminars. I ended up going back to college, finishing up my degree. Um, finishing up my degree in interdisciplinary studies at Wayne State University, and I graduated. So on the National Honor Society and the National Dean's List. Um, so basically, you would call me an academic All-American. So I didn't make All-American in basketball, but I did make All-City here in Detroit, honorable mention, and I could play basketball. But when I went back to school, I had a very serious thirst for education, and by then I was married and I had children, and I also raised two boys. Um, Me and the wife never missed a day of raising them. They also two college graduates that I'm very proud of. Played sports, had a nice run. Uh, they doing their thing. Um, I've been doing, once again, this love campaign we talking about, because I always wanted to have a family. I always wanted to have my own children. So once again, I want to experience life, in its fullest in terms of what it is I want to do with my life. And that's what I want to encourage you all to do, to take some time and start spending time in terms of what it is you would like to do with your life, what is important to you, not others, but what is important to you, and sharing with others. See, not what you can get from others, what you can bring to the table for others. Sharing some love. I did sign painting. Once again, I did the sign painting um, contract with, City of Detroit. I did artwork for the City of Detroit. I did multiple artwork for multiple clients around the City of Detroit, now around outside the City of Detroit. Logo design, t-shirts, all types of artwork. Um, I have a website that's right there. You can get the name, and it has a lot of my work. Has the love campaign in full detail on that website. Um, I had a contract with Eastern Market, big, large fruit market, vegetable market in the city of Detroit. I used to keep up the signs, big, huge, signs. I do the artwork, all that's on my website as well. I had a contract with Ford Motor Company doing technical illustrations for 8 years out at the Ford Livonia plant in Livonia, Michigan, biggest transmission shop in the country, producing transmissions at that time. And I used to do technical illustrations for the machine operations. Very beautiful experience once again. Um, the love campaign, doing things that I love to do out there, 8 years up and down that plant, producing these illustrations, wonderful journey. 40 years of volunteering. I've always volunteered. So many people helped me. I couldn't help but volunteer. I volunteered every year since I learned the meaning of volunteer, which that was at the age of, I believe, 18 years old is when I first started volunteering, and I have not stopped volunteering since. Every year I volunteer and help somebody in some form or fashion. Once again, the love campaign in effect. So as I'm talking about this love campaign, I'm not only talking about this love campaign, I'm sharing with you I've lived a love campaign, and these things is the things that I've been wanting to do with my life, and God has blessed me to be able to be involved in, and it's been a wonderful journey. And now I'm working on this documentary for the love campaign, and I'm just want to share with the world, and I want the world to come and share with me and help to launch this worldwide emergency direct impact love campaign. That's what I'm working on here. My life experiences have been wonderful, and I have participated in doing these things, and I've enjoyed it. It's been hard too. Nothing worth having is easy to obtain. We have to begin to, this is where you want to point your energies where you want to point them. Because it takes work and commitment to involve yourself in developing yourself in something that you love. It takes time, energy, resources, all of them, is needed. And, but it is possible. And I've done it in so many forms of fashions. I've had to get jobs along the way because sometimes the art just wasn't there. So I've worked so many jobs, countless jobs, doing things that I enjoy doing. Some of them been some factories, jobs, also labor jobs. I've done that too, a little, not a lot. Mainly dealing with things that I want to do in my life. There's been so many people who have assisted me along the way. So many. I just want to thank everybody. I'm talking about all my life since I was a child. There's been so many people who have assisted me in so many ways I can't even begin to count. But I do remember, and I try to remember, all the people who have assisted me. There's been a lot of people who tried to assist me and I wouldn't listen. And I thank you too for even taking the time to try to talk to me. Still a little hard head, but I'm humble enough today to say thank you to all of you who have helped me as a child, as a young adult, middle-aged adult, and now as I go into my senior years, people still assisting me. And I'm still thanking them and I'm grateful. And I assist others along the way whenever I get the opportunity to help someone. And it all don't just revolve around money. But in any event, that's been a beautiful experience that's part of the Love Campaign. That is a major part of the Love Campaign, where I come from. This is how this creative ideal has come to be what it is through my life experiences. And then at one point I was doing a project 16 years ago, and it was dealing with creating some art in the city of Detroit at this island called Belle Zoo. And I was supposed to come up with some concepts to paint on this 1.5 miles worth of fence. And I came up with the concept of having multiple artists paint all the way around this 1.5 miles fence to express love in various ways. Somehow, the guy who was over the project, he retired, project fell right to the ground. But I decided at that moment that this love thing, I'm gonna stay with it. I'm gonna keep moving with it. I'm gonna breathe some more life into it. And that I did. Next thing you know, 16 years went by. I have a 65-page business plan right up here hanging on the wall, right there. Numbers, everything. Financial numbers, data, start to finish. 65-page complete business plan. That's my third business plan that I produced in my adult life. So I have some idea of how to produce a professional business plan. And that is a professional business plan with all the documents complete. And it also has 2 10-foot by 3 feet long banners that graphically shows the Love Campaign from start to finish. Small sign shop is where the Love Campaign starts, in a small sign shop, and it ends in a worldwide love campaign, encouraging humanity to create more acts of love and promoting these acts of love and encouraging others to create more acts of love and promoting them to do the same. So there's a cycle here that once we begin to promote this ideal and start to advertise it like they tend to do with drugs, sex, and violence, they promote it, they advertise it, and people execute it accordingly. So my plan is to flood the world and promote love on a worldwide level. This love campaign has no barriers, no race. I'm not dealing with race. This is dealing with humanity, not dealing with one particular religion. This is dealing with all religions as it relate to love. If that religion promotes love, the goal is to increase the vibrations and the actions of love through black, white, pink, blue, purple, whatever your color is, to encourage you to do love action, not love talk, love action. Now, same thing with religion. So it starts off at a sign shop. That's where it bases at. And I have equipment and I have some resources, but I am definitely on here recruiting and seeking resources, people to help grow this love campaign, help take it to another level. The importance of a strong advertising. I've been doing signs for 35 plus years. I understand what advertising can do. You know, I'm multi-talented and I'm dealing with murals. We're dealing with murals, banners, t-shirts, hats, signs, posters, decals, fine art. We're dealing with fine art. We want to express love, encourage humanity to create more acts of love, dealing with all these different mediums. We want to deal with music. We want to deal with writing. We want to deal with poetry. We want to deal with community meetings, having community engagement meetings, dealing with professional panels. We want to have professional panels where we up on the stage, few professionals sitting on a panel. We taking particular topics of love and we discussing these topics of love, you know, in an organized fashion. We can talk about love all day long in multiple realms, but on these panels, we would take one subject, maybe two subjects, family, dealing with self. Then we'll build from there. Different panels, different groups. Also dealing with the talk show circuit, getting out on talk show circuit, dealing with some of these stars, dealing with some of these singers, dealing with some of these athletes, dealing with some of these educators, dealing with some of these politicians. We need everybody to participate in there. I have this business plan. It houses enough advertising and promoting situations that you can take on multitudes of people. You know, outside of promoting of this love campaign that I've researched for 16 years on the level of advertising and promotion, that's where the business plan, the nuts and bolts of the business plan exist in different ideals for advertising and promotions. Now, but along the way, it has become dynamic in other areas. I've noticed other things. You know, once again, I tell people all the time, you may not feel me unless you do something similar. I've been working on this thing for 16 years. There's something that happens to me every time I sit down and touch it because I'm engaged with it. I'm working on it. I don't get paid to work on this love campaign. It's been self-funded. I have hours in this love campaign I can't even count. But it has grown. It has grown and it's grown outside of advertising. Multiple ways of expressing love, acts of love, different ways. I wrote it down. I take notes on it all the time. I also have 5 ideas to sell items that will cost $1, $3, $4, small items that can be mass produced inside the shop. Job creation. 5 items ready to go. Job creation. It's coming along as I move in the description of this love campaign. Now, during these times, April the 13th, 2020, coronavirus. It's killing a lot of people. That's another thing in itself. But in any event, this love campaign is needed even more than it was needed 16 years ago. But it has brought us to some level of awareness. We are all looking at what's really important in our lives. I think people are tired to take another look at money. If you're taking another look at money and how valuable it is to you and how much it may influence your life, there's other things to influence and make your life complete. And you all been knowing this, but now we're being forced to take another look at it. And love is one of the major things that we want to begin to be more active in. And I see a lot of people doing it. And thank you for this opportunity to even be able to talk on this level about such a matter, because we do need more love in this world. And I'm not just talking about in the family, these job situations, these politicians, these innovators, the military, it all needs a little more love in it. And if we don't, we're going to all be wiped out. But there's a lot of people dying. God, forgive humanity. Forgive humanity for what has happened. Forgive us. But for those of us who live, we need to move into something different. We really do. We need to burn the ship. We don't need to go back to the old times. I hear a lot of people say they'll be glad when things get back to the way they were. Not me. Not me. Because it's been horrible for the majority. For the majority of humanity, life has been horrible. And at this point, this love campaign hopefully can encourage somebody to create more love action, because that's basically what we need. More actions of love. Humanity. Everybody. Children, elderly, middle-aged, young folks. We all need to begin to disperse more love action instead of waiting on when we're going to receive some love. We need to all begin to give more love. That's what, when you get to the end of the day, and a lot of people experiencing it now, I'm seeing it on Facebook. At the end of the day, I love somebody and I need to show them that I love them. That's what we are starting to look at. And this love campaign also has the ability to have an impact on violence. I couldn't say, I don't have the data to say exactly how much it can influence violence and stop violence and slow violence down. I know it won't stop violence, but when you raise acts of love, you decrease acts of crime. That would be automatic. Now, how much? We need to launch this love campaign and find out. I need support. I need support. I need a dream team. I need all types of creative people. Creative in their thinking, creative in their art, creative in their dancing, creative in their with their hands. I need creative people. I need people who just want to work and help workers. We need workers. We need a team to launch this love campaign. We need funds to launch this love campaign. This love campaign, not only will it have effect on violence, but the research. There's a strong research wrapped up in those 65-page business plan. In that 65-page business plan, there's a strong research portion to research love, study love, so that we can begin to access a higher vibration of love, studying it, investing in it, like we do war, material things. We need to invest in better understanding love, better understanding our health and our emotions and our mind. See, because in order to be able to execute a certain amount of love, one needs to have some level of balance in their mind, their body, their spirit, and their soul. Has to have some level of balance. See, this is where the love of self come in. Now, once you have a certain amount of love for yourself, then you can distribute more love to others. A little bit of love for yourself, a little bit of love to others. A little more love for yourself, a little more love to others. This research helps us as humans to begin to study it, research it, come to a better understanding so that we can execute it on a more positive, effecting level. There's a higher vibration here that this love campaign is able to put in effect. But in order to reach this, one has to participate. And it takes practice and commitment. What better thing to commit ourselves to in these day and times? Love is a wonderful thing to commit oneself to. We need it. We need it bad. We need it quick, fast, and in a hurry. Rethought commitment of love is what I'm talking about here. We are able to do it. But we have to think on a higher plane. We have to get ourselves, we can't go back to what it used to be. We got to build something new. We got to participate. I need full participation in this love campaign. I'm only one person, but I'm a very creative person. I'm a very visionary person. I'm a very determined person. And I can see, if you all never see, I can see where this thing could have a great impact on humanity. And a great impact, by the way, when you're talking about humanity, the whole planet, it don't have to be 100%. A great impact could be 3%. That's a great impact when you're talking about humanity. This thing is capable of doing that, but it won't be done by myself. I have to have some help. And the goal is promoting these acts of love, encouraging humanity to create more love action. Once the action is created, we want to videotape it if we can. We want to get an interview right after this action has taken place, and we want to share with the world how it made you feel, how it made a particular person feel to give this love, how it made a person feel to receive this love. So we want to take it and we want to promote it to humanity, not to brag, but to encourage someone to go and do an act of love, record it, and share it as well. This is not to brag about what I did for you. This is promoting so that we can convince some other people to do the same thing. Emergency Direct Impact Love Campaign. Through advertising, I want to encourage humanity to create more love action, more acts of love. Once these acts of love are created, then we want to videotape them, take pictures, do interviews, and we want to share them with the world. We want to flood social media with acts of love and kindness. Just imagine. Once again, I've had to use my imagination all the way through this thing, but I've been using my imagination all my life, so it's almost second nature to me. But imagine, just for a minute, imagine 130 jobs where people are putting together advertising, promotion of love, promoting love. 130 jobs. It's in that business plan. 130 jobs of people engaged 8 hours a day in the process of promoting love. Somebody hear me. 130 jobs promoting love. What kind of effect would that have on humanity? We will never know unless it's tried. The underprivileged deserve some more love all over the world. There's so many people in this world that's suffering. This love campaign could help ease some of their burden. The world, the multitude of people, the majority of the world, 60% possibly, is suffering. It don't have to be that way. We have to, see, that's what the research is about. Constant research, constantly studying it. Love, how to grab it, how to harness it, and how to distribute it more quickly, more effectively to others. We have to raise our vibration, our thought, our concept about love. We can't go back to the same old program. We have to find ways to raise our vibration as it relates to love. We can. It's inside of us. Each and every one of us. We don't have to go to Kmart's and buy some love. Even though a lot of us think that way. But this love I'm talking about is inside of each and every one of us. But we have to do certain things to raise this vibration and bring it up so that it can become an action that you can disperse on someone. It's possible. We have to think outside the box. We have to think something different. We have to pray for something different. While we all this praying I'm seeing on Facebook, beautiful. Beautiful. Let's pray for something better and different. How about that? Let's pray for something better and different. I want to build a dream team, this love campaign. I want to build a family that deals with love on the level of encouraging people to disperse more love. Advertising is the bottom line here. Advertising, promoting acts of love. If we do this, humanity will create more acts of love. How high and low, the only way we'll know is to put this thing in motion. I need some business-minded people. I need funding. I need fundraisers, research grants, filled with research grants. Need grant writers, art studio. I need my own studio. Equipment. I have 35 years of art equipment, basically a science shop and storage. I need a studio so that I can produce this art on a faster level. Digital printer. I need a digital printer. A digital printer would take Ron's graphics into another level of speedier production. A digital printer, a basic one, costs about $20,000, depending on various aspects of a digital printer. But you can get a good one for $25,000 to do what it is this love campaign needs to be done. Need a staff, need a quality staff. Interviewing people who passionate about loving on people, sharing with people, talking about ideals, growing in the realm of love. I've been working on this project for 16 years. I spent the last 5 years without a studio. I've been traveling around the country. That's another thing that I've wanted to do that's part of the love campaign. See, I learned a long time ago that there were some things I wanted to do, and money wasn't necessarily a requirement. Traveling, I wanted to see some other parts of the world, and God has blessed me to be able to do some traveling. But through that traveling, I've had to sacrifice. I have not had an art studio in 5 years. And I'm working on the biggest project of my life. And I have no art studio. But I've been moving along. I've made it to this point. I'm over here working on this. Once again, the goal of the love campaign, Emergency Direct Impact Worldwide Love Campaign. The goal is to encourage, promote, and execute acts of love on all levels of the human experience. That's the bottom line of the love campaign. It's been a wonderful documentary. I'm going to make some more. Once again, you can look at my website. I got my Cash App up there because I am accepting donations. I got my business plan over there. I'm ready to rock and roll. I've been ready to rock and roll. I need some support. It's time to build that dream team. Anybody want to get on this dream team? Just get in contact with me. Go to the website. There is where I'll be updating and putting information on about the progress of the love campaign and a few other social media outlets I'll be dealing with. But this has been a wonderful opportunity. I've worked on this documentary, put a lot of hours into it, just trying to make it solid as I can. I have not been a perfect person in this world. I've had issues, but I worked to overcome them. Some of them I've overcome, some of them I'm still working on. But right now, we need to pull together for these children, and we need to put something in motion that they can work on that's going to be different. That's something that's going to give a different result than what we've been getting in the past. And I'm not talking about 5G, because 5G is in motion, which is going to take a little more away from the emotional and spiritual expression of the human life. So we have to put something together that's going to keep and build on our spiritual, our mental, and our emotional well-being for our children. We have to do things, and this is what this love campaign is about. It has research for the future This is not just a present situation. This is about doing something that's long standing for a future. Once again, 65-page business plan, but I do have a 12-page business plan to give to certain investors that may not be interested in reading 65 pages. I have a smaller version that I can get to someone. Thank you very much. Peace out. Be coming at you soon.